What's up, creatures? It's been a while. I'm here with another review that I promised a long time ago and I hadn't got to. Going to be talking about Timothy Zahn's book, Thrawn, Ascendancy, in just a second. First off, I'd like to offer a little bit of an explanation. I put up a trailer, one of those shorts, to try to promote the upcoming review of the book that I was going to talk about, Thrawn Ascendancy. And then I got out of school thinking I was going to have all of this time. And I was hit with real life right in the face. I had a whole lot of projects that I had to complete. Took a tremendous amount of time. I had some family that I had to help out. Just lots of stuff going on. And I have barely read anything this summer. It's been kind of a bummer, actually. But I had finished the first book, Thrawn Ascendancy. And this one comes with a little bit of a story. Years ago, about in 2016, I was fortunate enough to go to C2E2. And that is a convention up in Chicago, Illinois. It's mostly a comic book convention. But I was fortunate to meet Timothy Zahn. And he and I got to have a great conversation. Now, over here on my Star Wars shelf, there's a lot of books. And I have pretty much all of his books. And years ago, he wrote a series of novels that was the Heir to the Empire. Now, that has since been put over into the legend status in Star Wars books. And for those of you who don't know what that means is, years ago when people were writing Star Wars books, they were all considered sort of pseudo-canon. But when Disney bought the property, they moved all of the published books into Legends category. And that means that they didn't really happen. They just kind of are an alternative universe sort of kind of thing. It's a little confusing. And say basically any book that's forward is going to be considered official canon. And so Timothy Zahn basically had to go back to the drawing board because Thrawn was incredibly popular with a lot of people. And he had to write a new series of stories and to bring that character into the canon status once again. Well, when I was there in 2006, this was the first book that he had written, and he signed my book, but he also signed my poster here. He's a really, I have to say, he's a super nice guy, super nice, very talented person, and just an all-around pretty cool dude. And so everything that has come out since then, there's another Thrawn trilogy that I read, and that was this one. It was about how Thrawn basically became Grand Admiral Thrawn, and that series was really good, and I certainly enjoyed it. So when there was an announcement made that he was going to be writing another trilogy, I absolutely was on board for that. And as you can see, here's the first book, which I'm going to talk a little bit about today, and there's the second book. I like the minimalist design in this. I think that's pretty nifty. And then, of course, here is the third book. It's much thicker. I love the minimalist design of those. So I have all of those physical copies, but I've only read this one because real life smacked me upside the head. And I think just to go over it a little bit, first off, I want to talk about the design of the book. As I said before, it's a minimalist type of aesthetic. And I really like that. It's the plain color, and you can tell that this is Thrawn out here. And it's more symbolic than anything else. I love the way that the N on Thrawn is written. I really enjoy that. And I think it's got a nice, clean look to it. Okay. A long time ago, and it be a long time ago beyond a galaxy far, far away. So this happens way out in the realm of the Chiss, which is what species that Thrawn is. And I think this book is beautiful. It's got like the bluish tint to it, but if you open it up, every page has got this blue border around it, which made for a really unique reading experience. And I'm going to read to you kind of the description about this book just a little bit. I got to put these on because I can't see anymore. All right. It says, beyond the edge of the galaxy lie the unknown regions, chaotic, uncharted, and near impassable, possessing hidden secrets and dangers in equal measure. And nestled within their swirling chaos is the Ascendancy, home of the enigmatic Chiss, and the 9 ruling families that lead them. The peace of the Ascendancy, a beacon of calm and stability, is shattered after a daring attack on the Chiss capital that reveals no trace of the enemy. Baffled, the Ascendancy dispatches one of its brightest young military officers to root out the unseen assailants. A recruit born of no title, but adopted into the powerful family of the myth and given the name Thrawn. So there's more to that, but I wanted to give you just a few of those words there so that we could kind of get into this book and maybe discuss it just a little bit. This, of course, will be spoiler-free. I never want to put spoilers into books. But I will say that this book, while pretty interesting, it's not as strong as this book was. It's not quite as intriguing or full of the kind of things that I wanted to see as the first book, but it is still very, very good. I really enjoyed it. It talks more about a young Thrawn, and it sort of jumps back and forth. It begins with a series of almost like diary entries of various people that sort of sets the stage. So there's quite a bit of exposition in it, but it works. It puts you into that particular realm. Now, if you're looking for Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia and Han Solo or Rey or Finn or any of that, you're not going to get it. This is completely separate in a world unto its own. It is nowhere near that sort of thing. It's not got any of those characters involved, and that's just fine because it really works to expand the Star Wars universe. Now, these books are just fun. Are they literary masterpieces? Generally not, but they're very well written, especially if you are dealing with Timothy Zahn, who certainly knows how to tell a fantastic story. He absolutely nails characterizations, and he pulls in the fun of the Star Wars universe, and he injects it solidly into his writing. I found it intriguing, just wonderful to experience, and I'm absolutely looking forward to finishing the rest of this series. Now, I don't know if I should review each and every book in the series. I don't know if that would be interesting to everyone. If you would like that, let me know in the comments, or if you would like for me to go on to something else or a different topic. I'm game for really anything because I have read some other books that I would like to talk about. But I would like to say to you, if you've never tried a Star Wars book, maybe give one a shot. I will be honest with you, it's much like Star Trek. They're either really good or really mediocre or even bad. I would look for lists out there. There's quite a few of them that will tell you some of the better ones. But if you like the character of Thrawn, the cool, calculating, and unbelievably almost Sherlock Holmesian mind that he has, as well as the perfect strategy that he is able to employ in his exploits, I think you're going to like this book. It's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of great characters. It gives us a lot of history of the Chiss, which I find really fascinating. And it gives us a whole lot of how the world works, their families and their houses. It's almost reminiscent of some populations of people on planet Earth in the past. And these houses make up a power structure, and sometimes they're not so nice to one another. And it's a struggle quite a bit to put who they want in power in particular things, in particular places. Sometimes people are just trying to help others get in a certain position because basically it puts another feather in the cap of the family itself. But at the same time, the Chiss are quite benevolent, and they do care about what happens around them, though they do have a pretty much a solid non-aggression policy unless they are directly affected or attacked, which Thrawn has a little bit of issue with. I will tell you the one weakness of the book, Thrawn is a master strategist. He understands how people think. He can look at their art and tell what they're going to be doing. Yes, he looks at their art, and he kind of knows how a race thinks based on that. Seems far-fetched until you read it, and then it's like, yeah, I can see how they come up with that. But he seems to have no political sense whatsoever, which I find a little bit difficult to believe in someone as intelligent as he is. I think more or less he almost just does not care about the politics of his own people, and he's just there to do what he does best, and that is employ strategy and govern the actions on a warship and he is a consummate military man. Fantastic with what he does, and he knows what he knows. I think that if you're interested in that aspect of Star Wars, and if you want to branch out a little bit away from the traditional story where you have Force users and you have lightsabers and all of that, that you'd find this book really, really nice. Interestingly enough, it could be confusing to a reader because there's a type of Chiss that are called Skywalkers. And it's not anything to do with Luke or Leia, but Skywalkers are able to navigate hyperspace using innate abilities. And that makes for some pretty interesting ideas. All in all, it's a fantastic book, and it was a lot of fun, and it was definitely worth my time. I would highly recommend it to anybody who has any inkling or likes Star Wars itself, but especially those that are interested in military fiction or science fiction. And I think that there's something here for everybody. I really liked it. I think that you might also. I hope you'll check it out. Let me know what you think if you did or if you have, and put a comment down there below. Our channel's still really small, and we're still hoping to grow to have a nice and bigger community to talk about books with each other with. That's all we're after, folks. I also have some other channels. There's links around on this particular site to my comic channel and my devotional channel, and I am still working on my movie channel. I haven't launched any content yet, but I hopefully will be working on maybe some of that this weekend. Saw some great films. But I think if you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to like this one. Hey, take care of yourself. Have a great day. Thanks for watching, and be kind to each other.